got to the part we're going to go ahead and test 3DR Solo, one of my favorite drones that I like to fly, and we're going to go ahead and have a good time with it, and we'll catch up with you later on the flight. Okay, we're back to you again. All right, this is what you do when you have it flashing with two lights. If you run into this problem, we got to disconnect our power and our balancing plug, let it sit for a little bit, so this way it resets, and then what will happen is that it will restart the BMS inside this case here. This is where the BMS that controls the battery management system, and then we can restart it. So sometimes it may take a couple of tries, so right now you give it a couple seconds and then we'll reconnect it again, and then you'll get full bars on there showing the battery's fully charged. So let's try it right now. First we'll put this on, balancing plug back in place, and then we'll go ahead and try it again. And we still got it. So may have to do it a couple times for it to work. So we'll let it sit for a couple seconds. We'll be right back with you. Okay, we're back again. Let's go ahead and retry it after disconnecting the LiPo battery from the casing. So let's go ahead and we'll plug in the power cord first, then the balancing plug. Give it a couple seconds there, and then we'll push the start button again and see if it memorizes a full charge. Nope, still down. All right, so let's go ahead and leave it off for a second. See if this works. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times. Once you do it several times, it resets itself. It just that the BMS is remembering the last battery that was on there, which was discharged. Well, not totally discharged, but it drained to the point that when you landed it, it showed that the battery was at whatever percentage you landed at. So let's try it again. Nope. Okay, here's another process that I've tried. So I've disconnected it. All right, I plugged in the power cord, started it, and then I plugged in the balancing plug, and that seemed to work. There we go. So that's another way of doing it, and you see it did work. So it gave you full bar, so it shows you all the lights lit up, the battery is charged. So we're ready to take off. Hi YouTubers, this is RC Tech Pro Flying, kind of showing you the hardware that I used on my Solo today on my flight. This is my Solo, which has obviously the gimbal on there, but I want to show you the motors that I'm using on here. This is the Emax MT2216- with the 810 kV motors. This is an upgrade that I put on my Solo to give it a more smoother flight and quieter as well. These motors are so much more quieter than the OME motors that come with the Solo. And along with that, I'm using, this is the Apex straps that I use to strap my LiPo battery to my DYI casing that I have. And the phone that I use as far as for display is the Samsung Galaxy S7. That's the SM-G930V. These are the master screw props that I use. These are the older style. What I did with these, I basically just glued the nuts on here to keep it from falling off. Is basically what I did. I never got the other ones that were pre-made with them on there. I'm using the Alpha antennas with my setup here. This is the GoPro that I've spoken to you guys on one of my videos that I have. The GoPro 4 Black. This one does have the 45mm lens on here, which eliminates the fisheye effect, and it gives it such a clear, nice view in the air. Also, you can see that it's a smaller lens. You can see that generally the original lens that comes with the GoPro usually fits around the edge, but this is a lot smaller. So if you kind of notice in there, it has the gasket that comes to hold the original lens in there. I just basically push it in there as a dust protector, and once it screws in there, it's really easy to install once you get this in place. Okay, obviously this is the transmitter, nothing special there. And this is the battery that I use. Now I got a Velcro on the covering of it, but it's a multi-star 5200 10C discharge battery from Hobby King. And this is what I put on the flight. They have a smaller version of this. It's actually a high voltage battery, which I don't have with me. It's no good. This will give you about 10 to 12 minutes of flight time on this particular battery. This is my DYI casing. This is just the original Solo battery. Now on this, what I've done with this, originally you would turn it on and off at the top, but the button broke, so I decided to put one of those micro switch on the side and basically just push it to start it. And this is my plugs. This is for my battery plug here. And this is the balance plug. So I can put that at the bottom of the link, or I can basically give you the link to how I made this casing. Very easy on how I do this. This generally goes right on top of this here. Let me see if I can try to step back a little bit. It goes back on here. And generally what you do is basically just plug the battery in here and your balancing plug in here. It goes on the Solo, so it slips on the Solo like this, and see if I can get it to go ahead and plug it in like that. And then I get the Apex straps. Hard to do it with the phone, but generally what this does is